Good morning and welcome to Todd Miller TV, your resource for what's current in the Las Vegas real estate market. And I want to go over what your agent is responsible for, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and I think people believe that agent representation is key in a real estate transaction. And what I mean by that is that the agent's supposed to know everything and provide all the information for you, the buyer. So here are some things, the most common things that I see. One is, I'll give you an example of an investor. An investor goes and they buy in a condo complex, and they ask their agent, can I rent in there? And the agent goes, yeah, because the agent looked in the MLS and saw that there were some rentals available in the complex and said, well, other people are renting, so sure, there's rentals available. So the investor buys the property, so maybe you buy that property, and the next thing you find out is when you go to get a renter, they say, no, you can't rent. And you go, but my agent told me I could rent. Well, it's not your agent's job to tell you that. Unfortunately, it's your job as the buyer. What the agent should do is say, hey, look, that information can be found in your HOA package. And you go through that, read that, call the HOA, talk to them. But relying on your agent for something critical like that is probably not a good idea. Okay? For one is, the agent could have bad information. Meaning, in a specific example, let's say that there are rentals in the HOA. But maybe it's certain units are grandfathered in for rentals and others aren't. You won't know that unless you get the package and read it. Okay, so that's just one example. Another common example is, hey agent, what's going on behind my property? It's a big piece of vacant land. The agent says, oh, well, there's a big sign that says it's going to be a soccer fields. And the person goes, great, we're going to have soccer fields behind the house. So you move in, and then a year later you find out they're building a Walmart back there. And you go, hey, my agent said they were building soccer fields. Now I'm going to have a Walmart behind my house. Well, agent shouldn't have done that. Agent should have just said, well, you can go to the city, the county, the state, look on the website. This is where you can find the information, okay? Because the agent may have seen a sign, but that may be, they may have changed the zoning. Someone may have come in and said, hey, we want to redo this, and no, people may not know. So the key is, don't rely on everything the agent says. Use your agent for what they're there for, which is their knowledge of the general market and prices and how to negotiate your offer, selection of the property, guiding you through the transaction, but the specific representations of the property. Hey, do you think the ceiling looks good? Yeah, I think it looks great. It's going to last forever. That's not the agent's job. That's the inspector's job. The due diligence is the buyer's job, so just keep this in mind. If you're a buyer, do your due diligence on the property. Use the agent to tell you where to go to find it, but don't use the agent as the source of the information. Okay? If you're an agent out there, do not tell your clients stuff that you're not sure about or that's not within the scope of your license. Okay? Big problems can happen from that. Okay? Then the last thing I'm going to tell you about, and this is the thing you got to be super careful about, whether you're an agent or a buyer, it's probably the most important thing. When you're looking at that MLS sheet and it says it's got 4 bedrooms and 3 baths and it's 2,000 square feet and it's on this size lot and all this other stuff, that information may not be accurate. And if you look at both the contract, if you're using like state contracts, and if you look at the bottom of your MLS sheets, it'll say information deemed accurate but not reliable. What that means is, it's a guess. It's public information. Real estate agents don't go and measure the lot to see this exact size or go out and stake it out and see that they've, it's measured right. We don't measure the inside of the houses and determine the square footage of the house. We just go with what the public records say. So if the tax record says the house is 2,400 square feet and that's within the MLS, but then it comes later on to be found out that was a mistake, that the county put the wrong numbers in there and the house is really a little smaller, and you buy that house and then you try to come back to the agent and go, hey, you put on your MLS it was this, you're probably not going to be successful. It's your job to go get an appraisal, have the appraiser warrant that measure the house out and do that for you. Okay? Don't rely on all the information. What's a bedroom? Well, technically it's a room with a closet. So it doesn't have to be a certain size. You could have a house that has 7 rooms that could be bedrooms, but if they don't have closets, they're not technically bedrooms. So you have to be very careful with what is specifically put on there and what that means. So do your due diligence, Don't rely on what the agent says. Don't rely on what the information on the MLS sheet says strictly, and you should have a great real estate transaction. That's the update for today. Don't forget you can go subscribe to the blog, and you can. It's pretty cool. You can have RSS feed on your thing. You can just click on it, look at all the videos, and get updates when I put them out, which is about every day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.